Have you ever realized you didn't pass a test or quiz because you selected the wrong answer on accident? Thou shalt check off thy work.
All right, 1.41, let's factor a trinomial, but when your C value is equal to 0. Let's go ahead, directions say complete this, do this with me. I'm going to show you how to do this problem in 2 ways. So let's call this number 1, the first way. Okay, I have a quadratic trinomial here. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and subtract this x, and it has a 1 in front, right? So these right here are like terms. And you'll get 12x squared minus 3x equals 0. Okay, in this method, now that you have it set equal to 0, the next thing I'm going to do is see if I can find a greatest common factor. Okay. In blue, this is 3 times 4 times x. These are called the prime factorization of 12x squared. And over here in, let's do purple, negative 3x is going to be, you can leave the negative sign or do a plus negative 1, but I'm just going to do 3 times x. Well, those should not, equal sign should be, they already have an equal to 0. Okay, what do I have in common here? And hopefully you can see my color coding. I have a 3 in common, and I have an x in common, the light blue. Okay, what do I not have underlined in red or light blue? That's a 4x, and there's nothing left in there. When there's nothing left, it's always a 1. Why? Because I need to write something there. This is my answer, 3x times quantity 4x minus 1. How does that work? Well, if you do something called distributing, which means there's a multiplication, you could do 3x times 4x. That will give you a 12x squared. 3x times negative 1 gives me a negative 3x. Okay, I realize that we are not done because this one's asking us to, I should put a period there. Solve each equation by factoring. Check your solution. Okay, so we factored it. Now I need to solve it. Don't have the equal sign. I already have ones at equal sign. Okay, so if I said that square times a triangle equals 0, that says that basically the square has to be equal to 0 or the triangle has to be equal to 0. I call this the 0 product rule. Product means multiply to be 0. So you're going to set this one equal to 0 and this one equal to 0. So let's just note this. This is my factored form, or basically all we're doing here is factoring, and then everything below here, whoops, we are doing something called solving. Solving basically means we're going to have x equals. Okay? Alright, so let's go ahead and solve this. I'm going to divide by 3 here. X is equal to 0. Remember, when you're solving, you're going to do PEMDAS backwards. Let me write that. This is my cool little trick. I hope you are simplifying. And then when you're going up here, you're solving. What does that mean? It tells you that if you're solving, do not divide by 4. Do not divide first. And divide by 4, you're going to get x equals 1/4. Okay, this is what it means to solve. It says x equals. Remember the big idea here? Just show it to you. This is 0. Let's say this is 1/4. This one was 0, and basically that's where the graph goes through. Does that make sense why we're doing that? Okay. Go ahead and try 2 of these problems over here. let me show you guys the second one, because this method that I just showed you did not involve the Xbox method, and I just want to show you that the Xbox method works. Okay, so basically we had it down to the second line over here, 12x squared minus 3x. Now if you think about it, you have a plus 0, right? You can always add a 0. Nothing has changed if you add a 0 there. And if you do standard form, you'll have a is 12, b is -3, and c is 0. And then what I can do with that is just use my Xbox method of factoring. And I'm trying to show you guys two methods, and you just pick one that makes sense to you and then keep doing that, okay? Okay, so I have a times c is 0, and my b value is -3. What two numbers multiply to be 0 but added to be -3? 0 and -3. This splits my middle term, so you need to add an x. They always go on the bottom left and top right. Here is my a term, so 12x squared always goes there, and our plus 0. 3x is our greatest common factor for that row. 0 is greatest common factor. 0x. Actually, that's wrong. And I'm thinking ahead to check my answer. 4x and -1. And I want you to notice, let's see if I can highlight this in this cool blue. 3x is too dark. 3x is the same thing as this one. And 4x minus 1 is the same as this one. So I'm trying to show to you that you can get the same answer. And what does it mean to check your answer? You could put in 0 in here. Just put in a number, x equals 0. You could put it here, here, and here. So 0 squared is 0, 0 times 12 is 0, 0 minus -2 times 0 is 0, so 0 equals 0. That works. You can also do 1/4 to check your answer. 1/4 squared is 1/16, 12/16. 1/4 is, I lost track. 12/16. 1/4 is -8/16. So -8 4/16, which is 1/4, and 1/4 is equal to 1/4. Okay, so that's how you would check your answer. Go ahead and complete 2 of these over here, and then press play if you want to check your answer. I'm just going to go ahead and solve this by using the first method, number 1 in blue there that I showed you, because I think that's the easiest one. It's already set equal to 0. I'm going to take out my greatest common factor, and that is 2x. Why is it 2x? Well, if 2x times something equals 6x squared. That would be 3x. 2x times something equals -2x. Well, that would have to be -1. Those are already factored, and now I can just set those equal to 0. 2x equals 0. X is equal to 0. Pretty fast, right? This one, you set this binomial equal to 0. Remember, use PEMDAS backwards. So we're going to add 1 and then divide lastly. So x equals 1/3. Okay, this one, number 2, gotta be careful. Do not divide by x on both sides. You'll say that x equals 7. I want to show you why x equals 7 is not complete. So the first thing I'm going to do, I like to draw a line down my equal sign. I'm going to subtract 7x. I always want a to be positive 1. I want the a value to always be positive, never negative. Okay, so here I'm going to factor out, so they both have an x in common. So I'm going to have x minus 7. Remember, you can always distribute to check your answer there. And then I'm just going to set both those equal to 0. X equals 0 is actually a solution, right? X equals is how you solve. And this one, x equals 7 is my answer. Okay, those are my 2 solutions. And question number 3. Add 25x. I'm going to take out my greatest common factor. Remember, a strategy of doing that, you can break them up into your factors. What do they have in common? They have a 5. Each of them both have, in the parentheses, both a 5 and an x. Do you see that? So I wrote 5x. That would be 4x. And this one is not highlighted, plus 5. And then we're going to apply the zero product rule, which basically means we're going to set both of those equal to 0. Divided by 5, we're going to get x equals 0. And this one, 4x plus 5 equals 0. So again, you have to use the PEMDAS backwards, so that would be 4x equals negative 5, and then divided by 4, x equals negative 5/4. And those are my answers, and you can check your answer by putting it in there. If I put in 0 here, 0 squared is 0, 0 times 20 is 0, negative 25 times 0 is 0. 0 equals 0. Negative 5/4, ooh, that would be fun. Negative 5/4 times negative 5/4 is 25 over 16. I'm going to forget 25 over 16 times 20, and negative 25 times negative 5/4. Are these equal? Okay, so 20 is 4 times 5. 16 is 4 times 4. Let's see what happens. Okay, on this side, my 4's cancel, so I'm left with 125 over 4. Negative times negative is positive. Multiply across, you get 125 over 4. So that works. That was checking my answer.
Math is super fun. Slope is rise over run. I be chillin' in the sun, yeah. Singing math is super fun. Math is super fun. Slope is rise over run. I be chillin' in the sun, yeah. Singing math is super fun.